No, the Bongo's been freaking fire though, dude, lately.
Yeah.
I was kind of sleeping on it and been throwing it up at Rosie. Trim it down, dude. Little
finesse
snacky right there.
Oh, that's a little snack.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
We got February coming up.
Kick it off, dude. I missed out on January.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're safe and not sick and in the hospital.
We're healthy. We're healthy.
But yeah, we got February coming up with my favorite time of the year.
I'm excited. Time to catch some big, fat ones, getting ready, pre-spawning. But we got a nice assortment today.
Yeah.
Do some power fishing, some more finesse stuff. But who's kicking it off? What are we kicking it off?
I want to. You were talking about that Roosevelt jig bite with that bongo trailer.
Yeah.
Dude. I want to hear about that.
Let's start it off. It's got to have a jig. I know. I always got a jig on. We always got to have a jig on. It just catches them. But right now, too, I've been loving the mini flip from Missile. More specifically, the Greenfish collab one. This one's got the living rubber skirt on there. So a little more action, a little more flair to it. I've been pairing that up with the Bongo Craw from 6 Cents. And it's been fire. I mean, you know, it's got the nice 2 little appendages right there. Got a nice little kick in action. Not overwhelming.
Is it tight or big on the action on it?
Because
I haven't thrown that one yet.
It's like an in-between.
Okay.
So it's not like
a little flutter.
Crazy, and it's not the tightest. It's like a nice medium, you know? Especially out here, it doesn't get too cold. That's been working perfect. You know, on this little jig, I'll trim it down just because it's long if you leave it regular. Trim it down just a little bit, ½ inch off the top of that, pair it up. And super nice part about this one too, it's a finesse, a mini jig, but it's kind of an in-between, like your true finesse and your true, you know, football bigger jigs. So I like that one. It's got a super stout hook on there, which is super good. You know, flipping around brush, rock, and even some grass edges you can flip this on, and it's just a killer. You know, that I think it's the Bammer Craw.
Oh, that's a good one.
Orange,
green, orange, brown.
and a little green pumpkin juice bongo on there. And that's been a ticket. That'll catch them everywhere too. Usually I'm rolling ½ ounce. And yeah, you know, just whatever. If you got steeper banks at your lake, it's going to work on that. If you got more flats and more laydowns and stuff you're fishing around, it's going to work on that. You can also swim this guy too a little bit, and it looks really good.
Dance it out of that brush.
Exactly. But this is just a super powerful finesse combo I love having on the deck in February. You know?
You don't get scared if you get a big one on it. You know, like some finesse jigs, I'm like, man, I don't know.
It. You know, especially if you got
please come in the
line
boat
on there too. Yeah. Like, you know, you have 17-pound fluoro on one of those Kychex jigs or something. That thing's getting straight out. This is just a beefy little flipping hook pretty much on there. Heavy rod, reel, and you're good to go. But that's probably my go-to.
It's a good one. We've mentioned jigs, guys. Quite a few times on here. If you guys don't get the picture, I mean, you might want to carry a jig in your boat.
It works.
You don't have
no matter ponds, lakes, we're like a broken record with that one, but it's money.
Yeah, I mean, we've been using it and we've been catching fish.
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard not to talk about it when you're catching fish on it.
But yeah, just a basic nice little compact one, green pumpkins, and get you some fish this February on that guy.
Yeah, keep it simple. The green pumpkins, they'll work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about one of my all-time faves coming up here in February, and that is a lipless crank. And if y'all know me, I'm a lipless throwing fool when it comes to the pre-spawn. Whether I got rock, trees, grass, you name it, I'm going to try and find a lipless bite. And the reason for that is I think, personally, you know, these big females are getting up shallow, starting to move up, and I'm trying to find those first female groups, you know, little wolf pack groups that get on a little staging area, whether it's a point, a ditch, or a hump, or whatever it may be. The first little spot they move up to, because I've had so much great experience on catching big bags, not just big fish, but big bags off of one little area. You know, you find that one little magic secondary point or little ditch, and you can pull up and catch, you know, 6, 7, 8, multiple fish, multiple big fish. And guys, red this time of year, you cannot go wrong with red. I mean, February is the month of red. It's Valentine's, pinks, reds, right? I mean, red. But I want to talk to you a little bit something different. Is that the shades of red play a big factor for me. So you notice here I've got like the boiled crawfish from 6 Cents and the Duke 65. And I've also got the Rambo Red. It's a deeper red color with some white in it. And I'm throwing 2 different reds. I always have different shades of red. When I'm dialed in, I'm catching them on it. I'm always having a different selection of reds, and I'm using that typically based on my water clarity. You know, if I'm getting that really, you know, brown, typically that brown murky water, I want something that really pops, like that methylate bright boiled crawfish. If I'm throwing in a little bit clear water, that green tint, I want a little bit darker red. Typically, I've found a lot of success doing that and changing the colors out. You can pick up a few more bites that way by keeping, you know, just different arsenals of reds. I've got a giant lipless box with a bunch of different red colors, and so I've got a lot of experience doing that. And the change of the reds will make a difference sometimes, big time, in our lakes. I'm targeting typically when I'm throwing these guys. You can keep it super simple. You can do I keep it simple. 3 different retrieves, right? One, you're just casting out, you're reeling it down the bank over treetops or bumping rock, whatever it may be, just a cast and reel retrieve. Number 2 is I'm going to cast out there, and every now and then I'm going to stop it. I'm going to kill it, and then give it a little yo-yo. So it's kind of a cast, retrieve, yo-yo, cast, retrieve, yo-yo. And then my personal favorite around, typically just around grass, because you can't really do it around cover because you're going to get stuck. But typically around grass, my favorite is just a straight yo-yo. I'm casting out there, I'm letting it sink down in the grass, ripping it up out of it. And it's just like those fish, they can't stand that. It's like that bait disappears down in the grass. They lose it as they follow it. And then when it jumps back up, they're ready to pounce on it. But yeah, guys, one of my favorite things, the Duke 65 this time of year, you cannot go wrong.
No.
There's a bunch of great liplesses out there, guys. Don't be afraid to check out different sounds, tungsten, lead, whatever, you know, lots of BBs, 1 knockers. Find that one that works for you in your body of water. But this has worked really well for me. In a lot of different bodies of water.
Heck yeah, me too. I love the Duke. That's a solid one. But yeah, don't be afraid to mess around with the different colors, different liplesses, you know, and you'll start finding what you like. What I got next, though, kind of like a broken record again.
Good one. It's a good one.
Dang flat side crank. And honestly, this is kind of a good, you can fish this in the same areas as the lipless, and it's kind of a good follow-up. You know, if you're going down a bank, someone's already hit, and you notice they're throwing a lipless, or even for you coes on the back of the boat, flat side crank is just amazing this time of year. I mean, I throw it a lot, and now it's nice too because they're having some deeper versions coming. Like in the Little John, you know, this is the MD, the 7 to 9, but they have the DD 70s and the 90s that are hitting that 15 to 20 foot range if you need that depth right now. Yeah, flat side crankbait, you know, covering water, especially we're looking for those pre-spawn areas where they're going to be pulling up to the back of those coves. You know, finding those main lake points they can set up on, ditches, whatever your lake has. We're looking for what they're going to set up on before they spawn, you know, next month. The flat forest from 6 cents is a hard one to beat. That's going to be more when, you know, I'm fishing shallower, that 3 to 5 foot range. And then if I need to get it a little deeper, you know, I'll go something like the Pressure series. You know, they have it from a 4 foot diver all the way up to a 16 foot diver. I really like it. It's just got one hard thud on there,
really loud.
Yeah, really loud, but I like it as just, it's a nice follow-up bait after the lipless. They stop eating that, get a little more finicky. You can still throw this over the grass. You
Keep
know,
it in the zone just a little bit longer, I think.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's hard to beat that crank, that jig right now. That's a good
deadly
1-2 punch. Little John's, flat F4 from 6 cents, and that Pressure series, those are my go-tos right now. Reds again too, you know, 6 cents got the Milliken Craw and the flat 4. That's probably my favorite. They got the boiled crawfish, and then Spro freaking has a million different red colors. Fire Craw's a good one. They also have a Western Craw that I really like. And this one's actually, I'm surprised we still got these. This is a classic run. It's more of like a translucent red. So if you guys are fishing, you know, some cleaner water and still want
Colorado
that red.
River chains, man.
Ooh. So that's a dirty one. Yeah, make sure you guys get some flat sides. It's a good one this time of month.
Well, I kind of noticed a little bit of a pattern between our picks here. We got some shallow water stuff, then we each got one deeper option.
Right.
So I find that really interesting. It's like, you can kind of see it start to change in February. I think you guys, those fish start moving more shallow.
Yep.
Start to be able to pick up those females, you know, in that shallower water column. And one of my all-time favorites, and there's a special scenario for this, guys. Okay, and you got to have that special scenario, I feel, for this bait particularly. But there is something really, really, really special about a Colorado, you know, basically a double Colorado spinnerbait, but especially with that orange kicker blade on there. This is the Bizbaits right here. It's a 3/8 ounce, the Bizbait blade. It's the Indiana, Colorado. And you notice got the orange kicker on there. What's special about this, guys, is I can keep that bait in the strike zone for a long time. And the special occasion I'm talking about when I'm typically trying to do that is when you get that runoff. You get that typically warm runoff. Cold runoff doesn't really help it, but warm runoff, we get some warm rains when you got that cold water, and some females start pushing back into that stuff a little bit further in the, you know, back thirds of the creeks or ditch or whatever it may be, where you got that runoff coming in, and it's a little bit warmer than the rest of the lake. So they get up shallow and it's really muddy and dirty. That's when you bust this guy out. You slow roll this sucker, and I'm throwing on the back of there, and this is a key, guys. 3.8 swim bait, and it can be a kaite, it can be, you know, a divine, it can be all any kind of swim bait. Particularly, I like the ones that have a big paddle tail because I want to slow this bait down. It already slows down a bit with the Colorado blades, but the key here, guys, is in that dirty, dirty water. You know, that warmer water coming in, when you get that, and you get in that special situation where you got that, you know, 6-inch, 8-inch visibility, maybe a foot, but I like that 6 to 8-inch visibility, is when I pick this guy up, when I know they're up shallow in that zone, and I'm going to even slow it down even more and give them a target to hold on to with that biz bait, and that's a 3.8 swim bait of any kind. I like that bigger paddle because it slows it down. It's going to just, you know, creep it nice and easy. You're just slow rolling this, guys, picking apart, you know, structure, trees, rock, you know, banks leading in, whatever it may be. But I've absolutely smashed them this time of year on that kind of stuff. When you get that special scenario, like I said, put an asterisk on that special scenario. Pick that up if you guys see that, where you get that warm water coming in. It's nice and dirty. You got to try that out.
It's a fun one. They smoke it too.
They absolutely hammer it.
Yeah. All right, you ready? So my last one, good old jerkbait, another staple.
February staple, man.
Right, that's what I mean. It's
just
hard to beat.
Bigs and fish, just in general.
You know, you can catch big ones on it, but it's another good. You're struggling out there, you usually can go scrounge some up with the jerkbait. Yeah, 6 cents Provoke. You know, they got the 106 is usually what I start with, and if it's tough or smallie fishing, I'll go with the 97. Really like the 106. They got the deep diver, the regular one. Again, that's going to be on where you guys are fishing. You know, you don't want your jerkbait on the bottom. You want it up above them, coming over them. So you're going to have to match that depth, either throwing the DD or you're throwing the shallower one, just depending on where you're living. With the jerkbaits, I like the gizzard shad, the live gizzard, any of your shad patterns.
Such a good color.
I don't know why. I have been catching them on a morning dawn one.
A little pink.
Why? I don't know.
They love the purples and pinks, man.
They do.
Valentine's fish.
Yeah, they are, right? But that's a good one. Targeting same areas, you know, pre-spawn areas. You know, as we get on in February, you start fishing shallower, maybe a little farther back in those pockets. You'll notice them moving in. Yeah, get you guys a jerkbait, Provoke. The Stunna is really good too because that one's a slow sinking right now, which I really like. It just sits there, just very slow. It's just gonna fall on their face. Get you guys a jerkbait on. Keep it simple. Go cover some water with it. You're gonna catch them on that this month, February.
I'm curious. I got a question for the viewers here, guys. You know, what are you throwing at home? I mean, we got viewers from all over the place.
Right.
But what are you throwing in February? Because I mean, still, there's a lot of places that are still kind of getting that winter pattern, but it's like they still want to be shallow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're starting to want to be shallow. I know hover strolling, jerkbaiting, all that stuff. I'm curious what y'all are doing at home. Comment down below. I want to know. I'm going to respond to you. Tate's going to check it out too. I want to know. Let's get some comments going. I want to see what's going on out there. February here, we're getting really close to spawn. Like really close here in Arizona.
It's been warmer out here too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's coming up quick for us. But I know there's still some dudes that are on their deep winter patterns.
Or iced over even still.
I'm like, curious. You guys throwing the ice jig right now?
Right.
Or?
He's still breaking ice out there in the tents or what?
Yeah.
But I got an interesting one for the last one here. You know, we're coming up February. One of the best hover strolling, mid strolling times, you know, of the year. Big females, and I'm gonna say this one right here is a special one for when, you know, typically in February we get those times where like, oh, we're on them on the shallow by there, and the weather changes, right? And they get finicky, they pull off, it gets tough, and you're like, okay, what the heck do I do? Do I pick up a jig? Do I do this? Do I do that? Let me key you guys in on a little something. This is a little sneak that you guys are gonna want to try. And I know it sounds crazy, but if you watch Ben Milliken's video, he was out on a lake in Texas, and I've done it, it happens. And when they get finicky, little 6 cents clobber minnow on a dang crappie 1/8 ounce or 1/16 ounce jig head. You got the clobber minnows right there. And I'm strictly focusing, guys, I'm forward facing with this, right? I'm finding those females that were on the bank that I was catching that are now pulled off, suspended, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to eat anything. And guys, this is just, I mean, they hardly see it. It gets danced in front of their nose and they can't help but just suck it in. And it's just easy, small little meal. They don't have to work for it. And with such a light head, you're able to dangle it in front of their face just for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But believe it or not, I mean, I watched a 6-pounder get caught in Texas. I was just recently in Texas on this, literally,
so nuts,
when it was tough. I mean, it was really tough to get follows, get fish to commit on scope. Pick this little guy up, and I mean, sure enough, I mean, it was instant. And then we had to go. So it's like, but you know, guys, don't sleep on the little micro hover stroll. Get you guys some dang 6 cents crappie jigs, 1/8 ounce or 1/16 ounce on the number 4, number 2 hook. I like the number 2, a little bit more stout. And some clobber minnows, guys. They do roll really well with that.
That's what I was talking about earlier. That's nuts.
And it's nuts. It sounds crazy, but I mean, dude, they eat it. And now we got forward facing. You know, you got to show them different stuff.
Right.
You know?
Right. Freaking, that's awesome though.
Yeah, it's wild, but it works, guys.
Heck yeah.
Well,
I think that wrapped it up.
Wraps it up, dude.
Freaking, there you guys go. February top baits. Hopefully you guys get on some fish. Go throw some jerkbaits, some lipless around. It's a fun month. It's time to get on some big ones. You know.
Oh, can't wait! It's big fish time. You guys know where to get them. Copper State Tackles. Got the baits.
Peace.
Later, guys.
Thanks.